So from the system that you are working on, you cannot tell who voted for who.
You can tell based on the user ID, which is a unique user ID, and the IP address of the user.
This is not a personal question. You will remember that we worked together yesterday as you worked on this report, and this is not personal. You became my friend yesterday, and you will confirm to this Senate that we began working on this report at 4:30, you disappeared until 4:30. Is that true? So from the committee, you will confirm that you left the committee room at 2:30 and came back at 4:30. Is that true?
Your Honor, that could not be true, and as I have indicated, we were called here urgently. We came without formal release letters. When we came, we were, invited into the chamber. We were briefed on what the assignment entailed.
No, I'm talking about when we start. We sat.
Counsel, allow the witness to answer, please. You asked a question. He's responding to that question. Proceed, witness.
Thank you. Yeah, so after we were briefed by the clerk's office, as our protocol dictates, we have to seek concurrence from our counting officer. I explained to the clerk's office that we need to get an authority to embark on an exercise. This is when I was ushered into the clerk's office. A letter was done while I waited, and I walked with that letter to our CEO's office, advising him that this is the sort of engagement that we have been called to conduct, and I therefore need to be officially released.
Did you require 2 hours?
Well, it wasn't 2 hours, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Witness, expert witness, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions in a few minutes. Just to follow up on a question which my colleague asked you. Who called you yesterday and you left the Senate-sanctioned audit for more than 2 hours? An activity that was time-bound. Who called you to go to that event?
My CEO, Your Honor.
Your CEO?
Yes.
Thank you. What did the CEO tell you when he called you to leave a Senate-sanctioned event?
Well, as I have explained, it is a practice that as a public officer, you have to get approval or express permission.
Did you require approval when the Speaker has already issued a directive and you are in the presence of the House? The House of Senate, you leave the Senate to go. Did you require approval to leave the Senate to go back to your CEO?
I think I was given a letter requesting us for the services which I had to deliver to our office for approval and clearance.
Did you become hostile to the team by the governor, the governor's team, when you came back? Did you become hostile to the team by the governor when you came back?
I'm not a hostile person.
You are not a hostile person?
No.
You asked a specific question yesterday, which he has asked you, and you need to tell this Senate. This question is in the mouth and minds of all senators today. MCS accessed this system using a gadget. Is that correct?
I wouldn't know how.
From your observation, MCS accessed this system using a gadget, whether it's a phone or a laptop or a computer. Is that correct?
Ideally, based on the nature of the system, yes, it's a web-based system. Yes.
And when you access the system, then you need to leave a fingerprint in that system so that anyone else can tell that indeed you left, you are the one who voted. And that is the primary question before this Senate. So the question is, did you find in the system what is known as the MAC addresses for the computers, mobile phones, laptops, etc., which were used to access this system? Did you find?
So allow me to answer that question in a more layman's language for the benefit of the Senate. What happens when you are accessing a system? There is the public-facing IP, and there is the internal IP. I'll give you an example. If we have all access to our Wi-Fi in this building, that
Yes.
Wi-Fi will have one external-facing IP.
Yes.
That IP is the one that channels our traffic to the specific requests that we make onto the internet. By the nature of this system, it has been set up such that it can be able to pick the IP as the unique resource locator for the service. And that is part of the logs that we've been able to collect.
Because of my time, and I appreciate, the IP addresses that you have given to this house are already in the house. The senators have looked at these IP addresses, and some are they have been recorded 9 times. They have interrogated that issue. What they are asking now, at this level, is that MAC address. They want to know, did this MCA vote? Did this MCA A, B, C, D vote? And which gadget did he use? That is the primary question. So does your report contain MAC address, the logs for the MAC addresses? That is the question before the House.
It's a right question.
It is a yes or no answer. Is it there so that I can show the senators that our case has collapsed because the MAC addresses are now in your report, the unique identifiers for the telephone numbers of these MCS. It's now available, produced by the expert, and our case has collapsed. Show me in your report where these MAC addresses are.
I have clearly responded to that question, and the answer is
the answer is show me in your report.
Are
no. Yes or no answer.
Counsel, let him answer. Counsel, allow the witness to answer. Witness, do you have the IP addresses in your report?
I have IP addresses in my report, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, the question is the MAC addresses. The IP address, Madam Speaker, I request for 2 more minutes. I'm now on a delicate issue. The MAC addresses.
Granted the 2 minutes. Respond to the question of the MAC addresses.
MAC addresses are not part of external facing details that are captured within this particular system. The system captures IP addresses. IP addresses can still be linked to a MAC address.
Okay.
Allow me to finish, kindly.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. You have your own safe in your house, which is located in a certain location. We cannot expose your safe to the outside world, but we will expose your gate number to the world. Ideally, a MAC address is unique to that house, and the house number is public information.
That begs 2 questions, Mr. Expert Witness, Madam Speaker, I wind up. Two important questions. These MAC addresses, what kind of audit did you do? Did you do a basic compliance audit? Did you do a network security audit? Or did you do a device compliance audit? Because each one has different levels. And maybe as you answer that question, there's a senator who asked here, did you penetrate this system into the NIT so that you extract the required information to complete this report?
So, Your Honor, you cannot be able to do an entire audit within a day. Our letter was very clear. We target our exercise in answering the 5 questions, and we targeted our efforts towards what activities will give us the response or the answers to the clerk's questions as directed to our CEO.
Did you do a search on all these IP addresses to tell the senators that these IP addresses are not located in Nyahururu, Bomet, Nairobi, or Embu? Did you do a search address in your audit?
Your Honor, we did what the letter requested us to do, which was to conduct an assessment that will respond to the questions that had been answered.
Last question, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, last question. The senators in this house, there's a live question which they want an answer from you. The evidence was given that a computer was used at the county assembly to vote for 3 MCS. 3 MCS, a computer was used. The simple question is, did you go to Kericho County, or was this computer given to you for you to ascertain the IP address or MAC address in that computer to give to these honorable senators to clear any doubt in their mind on the verifiability, authenticity, and security of this system? That is my last question.
Yeah, so based on the audit logs that we collected, as we have responded, the system has adequate logs providing verifiability, which is ideally the number of...
The question, did you visit Kericho? Were you given the computer? It's a simple issue.
So the system is a web-based system.
Yes.
For a web-based system, you do not need to physically visit a location. It's available on the URL, unique resource locator, as we have provided.
So what is the
report.
IP address for this laptop which was given in, which the MCS said they used? Can you tell the senators with a substantial measure of assurance, no doubt at all, that I, as the expert, this is the IP address of this computer, this is the MAC address of this computer, so that we clear doubt? Thank you.
I don't think that was part of my request for this
Thank you,
letter.
Madam Speaker. I am sorry, my time is up.
The question is now actually answered. It's told you. Senator Sifuna.
You know, Speaker, I'm a bit confused by the line of questioning that has been taken by counsel for the governor, because your directive was that all these parties be present during that exercise. Now, when I look at the report, there's a part for people who were present to indicate they were present. Mr. Evanson Kirui, counsel for governor, did not sign. The question to you, witness, was he there? This gentleman called Weldon Kipiegon Lagat, was he there? And then, to the counsel for the governor, these things you are asking, did you ask him to do it there, when you are there? And what did he do? And then why would you refuse to sign that you are present? Those are the questions I want to address.
Senator Sifuna, before those questions are tackled, you could resume your seat. Let's take a direction on how the senators will now engage with that report and that witness. Then those questions will be tackled in that session, because that's not an intervention on procedure. It's actual contents and questions to the witness. So, honorable senators, we have about 15 senators who would like to ask questions, and we must limit the time within which this gets done. So we'll have to agree that every senator should either ask just one question, if we have to cover all, and if we ask 2 questions, then we'll have less of senators requesting for that intervention. So we do 1 question per senator. Is that agreeable? We need a consensus. Okay. So 1 question. So you have asked yours already, so I'm not giving you another chance. He will respond. I'm sure he's already gotten the gist of the questions. Senator Chute Mohammed. You take about 5 questions, and then you respond, and we go to the next segment of questions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. A witness from the MCA.
Your time is 1 minute, and the clerk will be strict with your timing.
10 seconds is gone. Sorry? My question goes to the expert. There was an MCA who gave an evidence that 9 persons, or MCAs, voted from a particular station. That station is, the number is 41-139-237-129. Did you, in your report, do we have that report that shows that 9 MCAs voted from 1 logging station? Thank you.
Senator Sotsi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have to declare that the witness is my student in my other life, and he's competent enough. But I just want to ask one question. Philip, you look at me in the eye. Are you the one who did this report? I just want that answer, yes or no.
He will
because
respond.
from my teaching, this report would be done, have been done better than this, Madam Speaker.
Senator Danson Munkatana, is he there? No. Senator Eddie Okech.
I know this question might have come from the council side, but I'm going to ask it for my own consumption. Did everybody vote on the day of the voting or otherwise, in your best knowledge? And if that happened, then was there people who abstained in the system, or people who voted otherwise no? Or everybody who voted yes in the system that you audited?
Senator John Nyoto, that's the last one, then we have answers.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The matter before us and why the ICT expert had to come is because the governor's side has argued that there are some MCAs who voted for others. And so it's very important, Madam Speaker, for the ICT expert to tell us this MAC address is very important, because IP address, as he has explained to us, was the ID number. And if somebody wants, for example, to know my ID number here, they will know it, so they can vote for me. If the only leeway to get into the system is my ID number, it is known, it's in the office. So this MAC address was going to be very important. And Madam Speaker, the ICT expert should tell us about the address where the gadgets that voted were.
Time up. Witness, please respond to those questions first before we take the next segment of questions.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll go by the order in which they were presented. The first question was if the opposing side had their team members present. That is in affirmative. Yes, they were present. The second question was there's an MCA who alleges that 9 persons voted for a particular, 9 persons voted repetitively using IP 41 something.
You had more questions from Senator Sifuna. There were about 3.
Well, I captured the aspect of the team's availability. Yes, they were available, and they opted not to sign the report. And when we were extracting the logs, we even had concurrence on this report at some point until they decided not to sign it. I hope that answers your question, Mheshimiwa. Number 2 was if the specific IP that appears 9 times indicates that one person voted 9 times. Ideally, as I've indicated, Madam Speaker, this is a gateway, and I think from my basic understanding, most of these county governments have Wi-Fi, and this could be the IP address that have been assigned to the Wi-Fi gateway, and therefore, if at all you are connected to the Wi-Fi, your device is actually assigned that specific IP as a public-facing IP, and therefore, the system logs pick that specific IP as part of the logs. To respond to my senior Senator Osotsi, yes, I'm the one who authored the report based on the timeline constraints that we were given. This is the best we could do in responding to the specific questions that we had. The other question is, did everybody vote on the day or otherwise? The response to that is yes. We have the specific user IDs. We have the specific timestamps which are within the specific date that the voting was being done. And we have logs of votes done, and of course the other people who did not vote as part of the logs that we presented. The other question is, were other persons voting for any other person? That question has been answered in our report as question number 3, whereby it was being asked, was it possible for any MCA or any other person who had a link to vote on the motion on behalf of an MCA or another person? Ideally, if you have the link alone, you cannot vote, but you need to have the username, which is the IPPD, and of course, a password which is unique to an individual. Thank you.
Senator Wambua Enoch.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to ask a question where the expert has ended. When you asked by the lawyer whether any system admin would have voted in the system, you said a clear no. But you're saying that if you have the username and the password, you could vote for anyone from any location. So how would you have known that the admins did not vote? Because this username and the password are not computer generated. They have been assigned physically by the admin to the MCS. How would you know that they have not voted?
Senator Seki.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think that is the question I had because I wanted to know if somebody has the username and the password, and now we have heard from one of the MCAs by the name Berir that was unable to, doesn't have any internet in his phone, and someone else is working on another phone, possibly you will have forwarded the password and the username. So could someone else be able to log in or even vote using another phone? And that is the question I really wanted to know.
Senator Aaron Cheriot, Majority Leader, did you request?
Yeah, Madam Speaker, I beg your indulgence that you allow me maybe slightly more than a minute. This is the only chance that the people whose county is contesting this matter have the chance to speak in this House. Madam Speaker, I have a question to this expert. My first question is, did the expert really appreciate the assignment that is before them? If they did, I want them, because this is in the interest of establishing the truth, Mr. Speaker, to account for the report that he has brought to this House, particularly Annex 3, page 17 of your report. This case, by the way, boils down to 3 votes when all is said and done. Forget about all these issues about 9 and whatever, because
Majority Leader, you know our standing orders are very clear. Okay, 2 more minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I was explaining, and this is for even to assist the House, that eventually this case boils down to 3 votes and how they can be accounted for. Because if you read the affidavits of the County Assembly and those of the Governor's team, there is a contestation only on 4 votes. The rest are already accounted for. It is only that in one of the votes, Mr. Speaker, that witness has sworn an affidavit for both camps. Therefore, we can choose to disregard. But But I was pointing the expert to his report on page 17, Annex 3, to explain to this House whether he is certain and absolutely certain that the member written there as for Cheplanget ward, for Kapkatet and Kapkugerwet ward, they are the 5th from bottom, 3rd and 2nd last votes that came in. Whether he can give with certainty that from what he saw out of his audit, that indeed these messages emanated from the registered phones of these members. If that is ascertained, Mr. Speaker, I know how to do the rest of my work.
Senator Onyonka.
Thank you. I wanted to take you back to the question that Wambua had asked. And we go back to page 5, and that is question number 3. You say, the question you were asking, was it possible for any MCA or any other person who had a link to vote on the motion on behalf of an MCA or any other MCA? Then you say no, and then you qualify it by saying you need to have both the username, that is the IPPD, and the password ID number. What you may not know is that when presentations were being done yesterday, we were informed that these names and numbers were freely given to everybody in the assembly. In other words, the private ID numbers and whatever that was being provided for.
Senator Wakoli.
Honorable Speaker, my questions are as follows.
Only one question, Honorable Senator.
Did you ascertain that the link that the MCS received on their phones were the same phones that were used to vote, and you can justify the process? Thank you.
Senator Kavindu.
Chair, Speaker, thank you. My question is, if there was clarity about the MCAs who are claiming that their identity was used for voting and they did not vote. And yesterday I also asked a question. There was a Peter who tried to log several times and it failed. And I asked whether he managed to vote at long last. And this question was not answered. So you, as a specialist of IT, did you manage to trace that Peter if he ever voted? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Thangwa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My question is very simple. We were told yesterday, and I tried to ask the same question, that 9 members voted from the same computer. Can you, Mr. Speaker, request that we have the 9 members try to vote as we see? Then we see how long it's going to take. From there, Mr. Speaker, we'll be able to know how much time that 9 members can use one computer with different IDs, different IPPDs, and they are going to vote, Mr. Speaker. So if you can direct that is being, it can be demonstrated to us how 9 members can vote from one computer, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mogeni.
Yes, when a witness, there is a question that is troubling us, and we want to be sure from your evidence this evening, if somebody has a link and he has a user name and a password, can that person vote for another person? You got me? You have got the link,
You have the username and you have the password. Can you vote for another person using any gadget?
Okay, proceed to respond to those, and then I'll have another set for you. Proceed.
Yeah, so the first question was asking whether, as admin, you could vote for an MCA. The answer to that is no. If you have logged in as admin, you need to log into the system as a registered user who needs to cast their vote, because from the logs, each of the MCAs who voted had a unique number that enabled them to cast a vote. The second question is if any other person can vote for the MCA with the username and password. As I have clearly indicated, that is possible only if you have the MCA's IPPD and the password, which is the ID number. And the same answers the last question that has been cast by the senator who just took his seat. There was the issue of certainty based on page 17. And ideally, what we were trying to do here is to provide a correlation. The system has two modules. There is the system events module, the system security events module, and there is the vote activity, the voters module. So to address issues of source IP, as had been earlier questioned by the other council, we managed to actually map each of the vote cast with the IP, because this was an aspect of contestation that the logs that we have do not have IP addresses. But from the annex that we have provided here, from the voting module and the system events, you can be able to correlate this based on the unique user ID and the timestamp under which that particular activity did happen. And this is basically to ascertain that MCA so-and-so cast his vote at this particular IP address and this particular timestamp. The other question was, if I have an ID, and it was actually an issue of clarity where I was being told that it is common knowledge that within the county, ID and passwords are already circulated. My response to that is not within my knowledge, because it's unique to the county, and I wouldn't have really known, because it is a culture issue within the county if that is their practice. I was also asked to ascertain the link and the voting process. As a practitioner within this field, we are guided by principles. And just to make sure that we were doing a good job to this assembly, we made sure that there is a checklist that assists the county to conform to standard global practices and standards, as I had indicated within my opening remarks, which is the information security standard, as well as the ISO standards, and any other data protection, as well as computer misuse and Protection Act. So we are guided, and we provided that checklist to the head of ICT for the county, who responded in affirmative, and we have been able to receive some of those documentations to validate our report. So the process of whether to ascertain that the URL that was provided and the voting process, that is a documentation issue which we have been able to be guided by the documentation that was provided. The other question was, we identify the number of users, the identity of users who are able to vote for each other. As I have said, you can only vote for each other if you have that particular MCA's IPPD number and the password. But with the link alone, you cannot be able to do that. The issue of 9 people voting, I think the senator was asking whether that can be a proof of concept within the House. It is upon the speaker to decide. Then the last question was, with the link and password and username, can you vote? Yes, that is the answer. You can vote if you have both 3 parameters together. Thank you.
The question by Senator Richard Onyonka.
I responded, sir.
Okay. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I think you understood where I was. You were not aware that we had been informed in the evening, in the morning yesterday, that all the MCAs and the other members were actually given the numbers of their colleagues in terms of their IDs and their IP numbers. So if that is the case, is it true, or do you then think it is possible that somebody could have voted for somebody else?
Mr. Speaker, I think with that information where you have user's ID and user's password, it is possible for you to vote on behalf of another person.
Senator Chiranke.
Mr. Witness, I have looked at Annex number 3, page 17, and of course your response. So in this, you can confirm that the 33 MCAs voted in the affirmative of the motion. Is it true? And was the system compromised as per your understanding in your expertise? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Boy. Senator is, yeah, then log out, Honorable Senator, please. Yes, Senator Fak, you may proceed.
Thank you, Chair. You said that given the fact that the login credentials were shared amongst all the members of the Assembly, and that somebody could have voted, for instance, I could have voted for Mr. Senator Issa Boy, and then was it possible for me to vote for Senator Boy, for instance, and also vote for myself, given that I have the credentials of both senators? Thank you.
Senator Mungatana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to refer the expert to page 5, Roman 5. There's a statement there where he says, towards the end of Roman 5, that there is no evidence of multiple voting, neither is there evidence of other compromise of the voting system and or any impropriety in the voting system and process. That statement, in view of even the questions you've had now, that and then the information we now got that there were static IP address inside the chamber, there was evidence of somebody saying that he was going to vote for somebody else. Don't you think this statement was a bit too much? Was it a bit too wide? That it was because this statement is saying this system is totally fine.
Senator Professor Tomojand.
Mr. Witness, to the point, at page 14 of 22, you confirmed that there were no abstentions, 33 votes to the affirmative. Yet, if you look at the logins running from page 17 to the end, there are many failed logins. Would you verify whether the logins were by the MCAs who were voting? Number 2, was it a concern to you that all the votes were yes and there was no person voting in the negative? But lastly, is this an agreed report? Because I can see the governor's team did not sign, only the assembly team signed. All the others who signed are from Senate. Is this a report? And lastly, do you have superior qualifications to these other people?
Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Witness, is it your evidence that indeed, and I want to refer you to page 16 of your document, and specifically bullet 3, voting process integrity. Is it your evidence that despite the fact that we've been informed that credentials of logging were shared, that then the integrity and privacy of the voting was guaranteed? Then, in bullet number 5 or 6, you said user training and awareness. Evidence provided in this, testimony provided in this house states that there was no training. Is it then your testimony that that training was done? Then the last question was, did you get to see the source code and see whether there was a limitation of the number of people who could vote in a certain string? Was the system in the source code, if you inspected it, geo-fenced, or was it accessible from any part globally? Then,
Senator Crystal Asige.
Thank you very much, Speaker. To the witness, you have clarified that there were about 9 IP addresses that were identical. Can you also verify if there were any others that were identical of the 33 votes casted? And can you verify from that list of 33 votes where each IP address is attached in terms of location?
Senator Kumtimua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Philip, because we are here in the morning and we have heard that there were challenges with this system, with the MCAs, and I want to quote Honorable Trump, who was here in the morning, and he did mention that they were being assisted, some of them were being assisted. In the course of assisting, was it possible that this person who was assisting would have voted for this member without his knowledge, that now that this person does not know this system? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Eddie Okech. Then log out, Honorable Senator. Okay. Senator Mofire.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My question is to the experts, and I want to know, as an IT expert, based on your audit, do you have confidence in the credibility and the accuracy of the results generated by the voting system? So at the same time, what could be the reason why we have 9 similar IP addresses and the others are different, assuming that they were all using one gateway, one Wi-Fi? Thank you.
Senator Alan Chesang. Senator... No, proceed, Honorable Senator.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question to the IT expert. Now that on page 5 of your report, you had mentioned that it is not possible, Roman 3. That is a question of Roman 3. You had mentioned that it was not possible for any member of the county assembly to vote for another member. But again, now you've said that it is possible if they have their IPPD address and their ID number. So does that mean that your report, you're not sure of the report that you made? That is number one. And also, does that mean that you can also not assure us that this system is secure? That is number one. And also, maybe you cannot also confirm that you cannot detect.
Senator Paris Tobiko.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Witness, being the expert that you are, if you are the one putting up this system, setting up the system, are there other safeguards you would have put in place to secure the system and make it foolproof? If you have other suggestions, if you would have done it differently. Thank you.
Senator Shakil Abdallah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question is, since it has been established that it's possible for others to vote for others, is it possible to establish the gadgets which were used because all the phones are registered under certain names. If I use my phone to vote for Fatma, it will show it is my phone which was used. Is there a way to know that it was my phone used to vote for somebody else? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Okenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would also wish to know on how long the system was open to allow members to vote. And finally, how do we know if the 9 people who are voting was one person who was voting 9 times? Thank you.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just want to refer back the witness to the report. And I note that specifically on number 9, that the following persons were in attendance: Mr. Philip Irode, Mr. Joan Mukeire, the Office of the Governor, there was a council, and then there was an ICT advisor from the Mr. Weldon Langat, including the County Assembly, Alfred Korir Kimutai, Mr. Hilary Kiplangat, and then you had the Senate Secretariat, Mr. Zakayo Mogere, Innocent Baya, and Miss Marianne Karanja. The question that I want to ask you is very simple. This report, although you are the witness standing there to be able to submit and to present the report, were you the only person who came up with this report, or this report was a joint exercise by all those people who, by the resolution of this House, ended up carrying out this exercise? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Ledama, just look at the report. The owners of the report are 2, and they signed it in the presence of others. If you look at page 5 of 2022. Nevertheless, the witness will respond to your question. Nevertheless, the witness will respond to your question. Senator Hazana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I rise to inquire from the witness on why there is an IP address appearing to have voted thrice, contrary to the IP address that they had indicated was supposed to be the one to vote. And I take note of that because it has voted yes thrice. Thank you. And I'm talking about the IP address 154.159.237.85. Thank you.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my question is on the last terms of reference for Philip. You were told, is there any evidence of multiple voting or compromise? I don't know, did you make use of these particular terms of reference to check if the system can be penetrated by hackers from outside? I don't know if you did, you attempted to penetrate the system so that for our comfort, we know the system is secure.
Senator Mbugua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Witness, as an IT expert, whichever way this matter goes, would you recommend the Kericho County Assembly to continue using this system or any other assembly for that matter? Thank you.
Senator Tabitha Mutinda.
Thank you. Mr. Witness, you said that you received a letter from Senate in order for your authority to be able to undertake this process. This letter was addressed to who specifically? Because just need to understand the 2 hours that the council talked about, then who who was really addressed, the letter was addressed to who. Then secondly, this report that you've tabled, did it need any consensus for it to be valid? Number three, do you think that this system for Kericho County is a valid system that can continue to be used? It's a system from your own expertise that you would recommend that they continue using. Lastly, is that the MCAs that was...
Senator Mundigi.
Asante Bwana Spika. Ningetaka mkurugenzi atuelezee kulingana na MCA, kuna pahali wanasema walitumia dakika 5 wakaongezea dakika 2 ikakuja na singine ikakuja dakika 11. Sisi hapa Senate wakati speaker anataka tofauti anatuambia toa kandi na uingishe na uweke namba uweze kufuti, na kama imemaliza dakika kidogo kama haujaweza kuweka la ama ndio unakuta inaenda inapotea. Hii gadget ya Kericho kwani iko namna gani? Kwani iko tofauti na gadget zile zingine kama haija kuwa tembandi nayo?
Senator Kibwana Hamida.
I can't see. Let me wear my glasses. Let me get my glasses.
Are you reading somewhere?
No, I wanted to.
Don't speak. We need your mouth, not your eyes.
I was looking at the numbers.
Na mtazamaji, kama unavyoona gavana wa Kericho Daktari Eric Mutai atajua hatima yake leo hii. Bunge la Seneti linatamatisha kesi yake ambayo ni ya kumbandua katika serikali, na kupitia hayo Mutai amekataa mashtaka yote matatu yanayomkabili, akiacha baada ya kusomewa mbele ya Seneti na kwa mashtaka ya ukiukaji